Water. There's no life without water. We all need water. That's why March is my month to get in all my water. It's funny how that seems a chore sometimes, doesn't it? Those 8 glasses of water we're supposed to drink. And yet, when you've been severely dehydrated, that water feels oh so good. We have 2 stories of water today. Moses and the people needing water as they wander in the desert. A conversation about living water at a well. I want to focus on that conversation. It's a very unique conversation, and in our day and age, we don't quite get how radical and, for the disciples, perhaps concerning it was. You see, Jesus was breaking a lot of the rules that day. He was talking to a Samaritan, and you just don't do that. He was talking to an unaccompanied woman that wasn't part of his family, and you just don't do that. But more importantly, he was having what might be called a theological conversation with this woman. While their conversation may seem to be on the surface, it was much deeper than it first appears. You see, this woman started to understand what Jesus was trying to say. And you'll notice that, in fact, she, as we say now, called him out on a couple of things. First, she asked why on earth he was even talking to her. And then she asked if he was greater than their ancestor Jacob and was somehow going to get water out of a well that was very deep with no bucket. And then she complained about the whole difference between Jews and Samaritans worshiping on the mountain or worshiping in Jerusalem. And Jesus explains to her what his coming truly means. This is the first time in John's gospel he does that. And it's with a woman. In that day and age, that was pretty radical. In fact, this woman asks if he might be the Messiah, and she thinks he is. And a few chapters later, it's a woman, Martha, who says out loud for the first time, Jesus is the Messiah. Those are pretty radical things in their time and place. So this living water they get talking about. Now, I don't know about you, but I carry around a water bottle most of the time. I have several in the house. You never know which one's going to be coming with me. And I drink. And then I need more to drink. And then I need more to drink. It seems to be never ending once you start drinking. So I know I need water to live. They say you can go much longer without food than you can without water. It's a scientific fact. So I do need water to live, but what is living water? What's the difference? This is the water I need to live. What's the living water? Jesus says he's going to give the living water. That his is living water to give. woman doesn't quite understand, and yet you can tell there's something there. It's speaking to her, this idea of living water and not being thirsty. And then she makes the connection to the Messiah. When God came to be among us, God brought us something life-giving. God brought us living water. Something that could continue to refresh and renew and revitalize us. The Spirit that lives on of Jesus the Christ continues to bring us refreshing water. It's why we light a candle every week, to remind us that Christ is among us, and as we come and hear his word, and as we share our faith with others, as we gather at the table, as we gather around the font at baptism, we are reminded that water, living water, is ours for the drinking. Moses and his people needed to see something coming out of that rock. God was making a point. I'm with you, and I will continue to provide you what you need. That was living water in a real form for those people. Our living water is the Spirit of the Christ. That Spirit that's in each one of us to be shared with others. That Spirit that is in each of us that when we stop and nurture it, continues to give us life. That's partly what a Lenten journey is about. That wilderness time of reconnecting with the living water. God is in our midst. The water is flowing. Take a drink. I like the words of the song, and I was so glad we left it in praise this morning. All who are thirsty, all who are weak, come and drink. For the water is there. We don't need a bucket. We don't need to knock on a stone. The water is flowing among us right now. For God's Spirit is there, providing all we need. We need only to receive it. Amen.